the night he forced me out. My name is Anna Whitmore, and the day my marriage fell apart was also the day my husband finally discovered the truth I had protected for months. Several months earlier, my grandfather passed away and left me $20 million through a family trust. The military legal office overseeing the transfer gave me one firm instruction: tell absolutely no one until every document had been finalized. That included my husband, Mark. It was not about mistrust. It was the law. At the same time, I was 7 months pregnant and assigned to an operation I was forbidden to discuss with civilians. Mark believed I handled paperwork for the Department of Defense. He had no idea I was a decorated Army colonel entrusted with classified command duties. As my pregnancy moved forward, his behavior changed. Every appointment he missed came with another excuse. I'm dealing with a lot of pressure, asterisk. Every night he arrived late came with a different lie. Stop turning everything into something about the baby. I continued swallowing my anger because I believed our family was still worth fighting for. I was mistaken. The night everything finally erupted, a sudden contraction almost knocked the air from my lungs. I grabbed the kitchen counter and struggled to remain standing. Mark, I whispered, it's starting. The doctor told us to come in the moment labor begins. He did not even turn toward me. I'm busy. Another contraction struck. I gasped, and at last he faced me with an icy expression. I'm finished carrying you, he snapped. You're nothing except dead weight. Before I could respond, he yanked my hospital bag from the closet and hurled it across the floor. Get out. My legs shook so violently that I could hardly stay upright. Can't even bend down. He watched me without taking a step. That isn't my problem. With trembling fingers, I called my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Rivera. Minutes later, she hurried inside, placed an arm around me, and guided me carefully toward her car. At the front entrance, Mark rested against the wall with a self-satisfied grin. Don't waste your time coming back. His words echoed in my mind the entire drive to the military medical center. The nurses treated me gently. The doctors assured me everything would be fine. And after a difficult night, I safely gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Yet through it all, my phone remained completely silent. No phone calls, no messages, not even one question asking whether our baby was all right. The following afternoon, the door to my hospital room swung open. Mark entered as though the room belonged to him. Standing beside him was an elegantly dressed woman wearing a glittering ring on her finger. She looked directly at me with a triumphant smile. Seems like you lost, she said quietly. Mark crossed his arms. I've already moved on. Before I had the chance to answer, someone else knocked on the door. Every nurse inside the room immediately stood straighter. A 3-star Army general stepped inside, stopped next to my bed, and raised his hand in salute. Colonel Anna Whitmore. Headquarters directed me to personally present your promotion orders and approve your new classified command. He set a sealed envelope into my hands. Then his attention moved to the woman standing beside Mark. She instantly snapped to attention, her face turning pale. Sir, I serve as Colonel Whitmore's executive officer. The color drained from Mark's face. In one crushing instant, the woman he had cast out while she was giving birth was no longer the powerless wife he believed he could replace. She was now one of the most highly respected senior officers in the United States Army. The fall from grace. The general glanced between Mark, the executive officer, Captain Vanessa Thorne, and me, his sharp eyes taking in the scene. Captain Thorne, the general barked, his voice dropping into a dangerous register. Explain your presence here, out of uniform, in the private room of your commanding officer, accompanying a civilian. Vanessa stood frozen, her eyes wide with sheer terror. Sir, I was not aware that Colonel Whitmore was— You were not aware of your commander's identity, the general interrupted coldly. Or were you too distracted engaging in conduct? Mark swallowed hard, stepping forward to intervene, still completely out of his depth. Wait a minute, hold on, who are you? Anna is just an administrator. She doesn't own anything. She doesn't command anyone. And I'm divorcing her. The general slowly turned his gaze toward Mark. I am Lieutenant General Vance's son, and the woman you are yelling at is a decorated combat veteran, a senior military commander, and currently holding a top-secret security clearance that makes your entire existence look like a footnote. You will lower your voice in this hospital before Mark could process the revelation. A second knock echoed at the door. Two men in sharp, dark suits stepped inside, followed by a military legal advocate carrying a thick leather briefcase. Colonel Whitmore, the lead attorney, said with a polite nod, I apologize for the intrusion. But as per your grandfather's estate instructions, the legal hold on the trust expired at midnight. The $20 million inheritance transfer is fully executed. All assets are safely secured in your sole premarital trust fund. Mark's jaw literally dropped. 20 million asterisk. He looked from the lawyer to me, his brain desperately trying to piece together the shattered remnants of his delusion. Anna, what is he talking about? What trust? I held my baby daughter close to my chest, looking up at Mark with an icy calm he had never seen from me before. I tried to tell you I was carrying a heavy load, Mark, I said softly. You thought I was dead weight. But while you were planning your little affair with my subordinate, I was managing classified operations and securing my daughter's future. Looked at Captain Thorne. Captain, you will report to military police headquarters at 08:00 tomorrow morning for an inquiry into fraternization, conduct unbecoming, and security breaches. Consider your career in the armed forces effectively over. Vanessa's lips quivered. Without another word, she turned on her heel and fled the room, leaving her shiny ring and her career behind. Mark took a frantic step toward my bed, his hands raised in desperation. Anna, babe, wait. I was under so much stress. I was confused. We can fix this. Think about our daughter. You kicked me out in the middle of labor. Mark, I said, my voice unwavering. You left me on the porch while I was in agony. You didn't care about our daughter then, and you don't care now. You only care about what you just lost. The general signaled to the military police officers standing guard outside in the hallway. Within seconds, two armed officers stepped into the room and grabbed Mark firmly by the arms. Get your hands off me. Mark panicked, squirming against their grip. Anna, tell them to stop. You're my wife. Not for long, I replied cold-headedly. My legal team has already filed the expedited divorce papers. You will receive $0 from my inheritance. You will be removed from our home's lease, and any contact you have with my daughter will be handled strictly through a court-appointed mediator. Anna, please. He begged as the officers began dragging him backward down the hallway. I made a mistake. His desperate pleas faded down the corridor until the heavy hospital doors swung shut, leaving only silence. I took a deep breath, looking down at my sweet, sleeping baby girl resting safely in my arms. The weight of the secret and the toxic marriage was finally gone. For the first time in months, I smiled, ready to step into my new command, my new wealth, and a bright future with my daughter.